In today's qualifying session from Interlagos, it was a Ferrari quickest once again, but this time it was the Australian Daniel Ricciardo who was fastest, with a 1:22.5 on the intermediates, with his teammate Sebastian Vettel way down in 5th and over half a second off the pace. Given the unpredictability of the weather during the session, there were bound to be a couple of lucky drivers, and those were Sainz and Leclerc in 2nd and 6th respectively, who went out right at the end of the session and found the conditions quite agreeable. Meanwhile, aarava got his best qualifying result of the season so far in 3rd position and with Lewis Hamilton alongside him. It was another difficult Saturday for the team from Brackley. Verstappen could only manage 7th, and Wehrlein barely made it into the top 10. In between the Mercs comes Van Dorn in P8 and nearly 5/10 off his teammate, and Magnussen in P9, again showing that the Renault is fantastic in wet conditions. aarava's teammate Pierre Gasly was one of the unlucky ones today. He'll start from P11 alongside Sergio Perez, who also had his best qualifying result of the season so far.
What's going, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 MyDriver Career Mode, episode number 3 today for the 2018 season. We're here in a pretty decent P3, just behind our junior team, Toro Rosso man, Carlos Sainz in 2nd place. Very surprising, but you can see the race is going to start under intermediate conditions, so it should be quite a good one. We'll see how it goes on the inters. I think I have some pretty decent pace after qualifying, you must say. But guys, thank you so much for the support on episode number 2 last week. Absolutely crazy. I've said it time and time again. Just the comments, the likes, everything just been absolutely crazy for this series, so I can't thank you guys enough for that. So let's try and continue on for episode number 3. And again, if you did forget, or a few people have not heard yet, this series is a weekly series every single Monday, 7 PM GMT time. No other time unless I say so on Twitter, perhaps. But anyway, we're going to look at the race strategy. It's going to be a 2-stop, apparently, with intermediates, but you can see it is going to get sunnier towards the end of the race. So it will be a changeable condition race, so it should be a pretty damn good one. But before we get to the start of the race, let's take a look at the starting grid.
So let's take a look at the grid for today's Brazilian Grand Prix. Once again, it is a Ferrari on pole, but this time it's Daniel Ricciardo, and joining him on the front row, it's Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso. Very impressive driving qualifying. On the 2nd row, in 3rd position, comes aarava in the Red Bull and Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren. Then comes Sebastian Vettel, the 2-time pole sitter already this season, in 5th, alongside Charles Leclerc in 6th position. Max Verstappen in the Mercedes will start from 7th alongside Stoffel Van Dorn in 8th, and rounding out the top 10 is Kevin Magnussen in the Renault, once again making it into the top 10, and then Pascal Wehrlein in the Mercedes. Row 6 is Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull alongside Sergio Perez in the Force India, his best qualifying result so far in this season. Then comes Mick Schumacher in the other Alfa Romeo alongside Antonio Giovinazzi and the Toro Rosso, way off the pace of Carlos Sainz. Then comes Sirotkin and Hulkenberg in 15th and 16th, Rosberg and Bottas in 17th and 18th, and rounding out the end of the grid, it's Lance Stroll and Josef Newgarden in the Williams and the Haas, and then Esteban Ocon and Romain Grosjean on the final row of the grid.
So now you know the entire starting grid ahead of the Grand Prix. Thanks to Justin. Let's get into this without further ado to the Brazilian Grand Prix. We go to 5 red lights. Ricciardo on pole position. Sainz on his left in 2nd place. I'm in 3rd place. 5 red lights are out, and we're underway in a very soaking Brazilian Grand Prix. Very, very easy on the throttle as we get underway, and Hamilton makes some contact with Sainz. Down the inside goes Charles Leclerc in the Alfa Romeo. He's gone up into 3rd place, and now he's going to try and tackle Sainz into the 2nd turn. We go, all going a little bit wide there on the left-hand side. Hamilton still there on my left as we try and hang it around the outside. Doesn't quite work out. We get a snap of oversteer. They have to lift off momentarily as we go down the order. Look at the lead Daniel Ricciardo has on Carlos Sainz there already. As we go through, you can see all very lined up behind Sainz there, but Ricciardo with already quite a sizable lead, so he's loving these conditions at the moment. You can see there, I'm struggling a little bit, going wide on the curbing, and Vettel right behind me challenging me. As you can see, Hamilton, we go up the hill, going quite slowly, actually. We gained some time on him. Up the hill we go, right up his gearbox now. So can we try and maybe make a move and size something up in the left hand here? You can see right up his gearbox, basically touching his rear tyres there. And we're going to try something round the outside. Look at this. Look at the traction we've got round the outside. We're going to do it down the inside of Lewis Hamilton up into P4, and that is going to be it. What a lovely move there on Hamilton as he really struggles for grip, surprisingly. And so now we are looking at the back of the Alfa Romeo, of Charles Leclerc, and I can't believe I'm quite saying that, to be honest. He's had an absolute stormer of a start there, and look at that, on towards lap 2, having more issues with traction, and the two up ahead are getting away from me as Hamilton now makes a move down the inside of the back straight as we go into sector 2. They're still side by side on the outside. Hamilton on the left, he's made it through there, he's stuck it through down the inside, he's kept it, balls of steel there from Hamilton, and he's made that through back up into 4th place. So some great action already with myself and Hamilton, and Vettel now is still right behind us, and all the time me and Hamilton are battling, this is gonna basically allow Vettel to close up very, very easily. But once more through the left-hander, looks like Hamilton and the McLaren perhaps as a whole team are struggling through this sector as we go and nip it down the inside on the curbing there, and it looks like our chassis is working out really, really well. It looks like we've got the, got the pace through sector 2, maybe not so much in sector 1 and sector 3, as you can see, last lap Hamilton able to close up, and once again on lap 3 Hamilton able to do the exact same. This time though, we got a lot more defensive on the left hand side of the circuit. Now Hamilton will have to now try and go around the outside. We squeeze him out there, that allows Vettel to nip it down the inside, so now they go side by side just like they did at Bahrain. Vettel and Hamilton now scrapping away on lap 3 as they go up the run through the hill. You can see I'm already getting time on both these guys as they squabble over position here, and Vettel still managing to hang it around the outside. Beautiful stuff from Sebastian Vettel, trying to catch up to his teammate, obviously, who you can see in the distance there has got a great lead, and they still go side by side. Vettel squeezes Hamilton down the inside there, and Hamilton concedes the position, has now got Van Dorn for company right behind it, but Sebastian Vettel with a beautiful little move there, kept it in all the way up the hill around the outside, and he's now up into what will be 5th place. We're in 4th place, you can see there, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in 2nd and 3rd as they go on the left-hander up the hill, and you can see Ricciardo on the mini-map, not even able to be seen on the mini-map. He's got such a lead. Ricciardo is in a world of his own today. He's not really been cracking up against Vettel for the last 2 rounds, but round 3 now, Brazil, he's really come alive in these conditions, and he's really setting the pace. But speaking about setting the pace, we actually go and set the fast lap of the Grand Prix, so Ricciardo may have the momentum up ahead, but now we're getting our power down and showing that we've got the downforce in these conditions with the Red Bull chassis, just lacking a little bit on the main main straights of sector 1 and sector 3. As you can see, talking about sector 1 into turn 1 and then turn 2 they go. Sainz and Leclerc battling. Sainz has squeezed out Leclerc onto the curbing there, a lot like Verstappen's done to Perez in 2015, if you remember, in his Toro Rosso days. And now we try and maybe make a move on Leclerc. Didn't quite work out. Now Leclerc will go down the inside of Sainz, and look at that, Vettel's down the inside of me. He dives it down the inside. We're going 4 abreast here, 4 cars side by side, 2 by 2, 2 by 2, and that's absolutely amazing stuff to witness. Side by side with Sebastian Vettel, and Vettel is really on it like a car bonnet. He tries to go round the outside just like he did to Hamilton there. I'm trying my best to defend from him, and meanwhile Charles Leclerc is up into 2nd place. He's done absolutely fantastic, the lad. What an absolute move he's done on Sainz. We've just managed to keep ahead of Sebastian Vettel and keep 4th place, and now we'll get some beautiful traction on Sainz. He appears to be struggling actually quite a bit. He squeezes me a little bit onto the grass there, but we'll keep our foot in, try and go around the outside on the curbing a little bit. But look at that, the absolute downforce we've got on Sainz, and Sainz has definitely got some sort of issue maybe, because he's really struggling now. Lost 2 places in the span of about 2 sectors there. Now we're up into 3rd place, into the podium positions early on in this Grand Prix. Remember, it's early days. It's only freaking like lap 6 now as we move on, so we got plenty of this Grand Prix to go. Bit of debris there, I think that was, as we go into turn 1, and our teammate Gasly is into the pits for a very early pit stop, so I'm not quite sure what that's about. So we're going to have to take a look at a replay and see what went on. So a bit of a break from what's going on with us in our world. Let's take a look at Gasly. He makes a move on a Force India. So Gasly a little bit down the order, unfortunately, from qualifying and also at the very start of the race. So he goes side by side with the Force India. Oh my God! The Renault of Magnussen gets spun round as he was going side by side momentarily with the Force India, but then Magnussen drops it under traction, and so that's why Gasly had to make an early pit stop there. So he's going to be way down the order, probably in last place at this point, apart from maybe Magnussen. But you can see we're still in 3rd place. We move on into the middle of lap 6, trying to chase down Charles in the Alfa Romeo. We should be able to get him in a few laps time, but looking further back down the order, we can see Giovinazzi, after a really poor qualifying, goes down the inside of Max Verstappen in the brand new Monster Mercedes sponsored car, and he goes side by side with Verstappen. Great stuff here, still side by side. Max keeps his foot in his right foot. We know how how audacious he is in real life in Formula 1, so he keeps it through round the outside, up the the hill they go. Still side by side. Look at this bravery from Antonio, trying to keep around the outside, just like Sebastian Vettel did in the Italian car. The Italian man in the Italian Toro Rosso goes down the inside. They're still side by side. Max still keeps it in. Go on, son. Verstappen down the inside of Giovinazzi. Still, this is absolutely insane to witness. Look at this. Giovinazzi now goes round the outside. He's got the traction. What a battle and a move Giovinazzi has made, but what a battle him and Verstappen equally had a part to play in it. That is insane. Remember, these are AI cars and they're having such amazing battles. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what it is about Brazil and MyDriver, but Brazil MyDriver has always been absolutely bonkers and just incredible scenes there from Verstappen and Giovinazzi. Obviously, Giovinazzi poor qualifying, so he's tried to make his way up because, you know, his teammate was in second place on the grid, whereas he's further down, so he's trying to get back up there, but we've seen Sainz struggling a little bit, so kind of, you know, see how Giovinazzi actually progresses. I doubt he'll get any further, maybe. We'll have to see, but we're now on to lap 8. You can see Charles Leclerc is actually getting away from us. You can see in the distance, I can't actually see him anymore as well as I could on lap 6. But as we come through now down the main straight onto lap 9, you can see Daniel Ricciardo now, meanwhile, into the pits, and he's going to set on another set of intermediates. So I thought for a second maybe he was trying a very audacious move to go onto the dries. Would have been quite stupid because you can see the amount of spray still there. So interesting, Ricciardo has made a first pit stop, for a second set of intermediate tyres. So I wonder if that's what all the grid are thinking about. As we move on to lap 11, up the hill now, a lot closer to the Charles Leclerc. He's been struggling on those inters, and so he comes in now for a set of brand spanking new intermediates. And so it takes us 4 more laps for us to get the message that DRS is enabled. At this point, I'm still in first place. I have not made a pit stop yet in this Grand Prix because I was waiting for, well, this very lap 15, for the DRS to be enabled, because that tells me that it's time for the dry tyres. You can see the track actually looks really damp. So again, I don't know what it is about Brazil. We've seen it in real life as well, that sometimes it can look very damp, but it can be time for the dry tyres. If you think back to 2012 in real life, where you had all the cars racing around on hard tyres in the wet condition. We've opted for the medium tyres. We come down the pit entry. A little bit of a summary of what the situation is right now. We're going to come out in first place now on these medium tyres. Everyone has made already one more stop than us in the Grand Prix. This is my very first pit stop. Everyone made one extra pit stop earlier on the Grand Prix for intermediates. My teammate obviously did because he lost a bit of his front wing, and then Ricciardo and everyone else made it a few laps earlier prior to this. So they have got quite a bit of a gap to catch up to me at the moment because I've made one less stop than them. That's not going to be an issue for them because as we go on to lap 17, you can see Daniel Ricciardo taking the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and I'm still getting up to speed on these medium tyres. And later on into that same lap, Max Verstappen pops in a fast lap of the Grand Prix as well. So a lot of people are going purple, kind of everyone trading in fast laps of the Grand Prix so far as they all get acquainted with the circuit. Then Gasly, my teammate, pops one in as well, just showing the pace of the Red Bull and actually probably showing the kind of unfortunate circumstance of him having that accident with Magnussen, because he's going very well now, so he's going to have to use that pace to good effect. Probably why he's pushing so fast for a fast lap at the moment, because he's got a lot more ground to catch up versus me. But about until lap 20, Ricciardo comes across the line to set another fast lap of the Grand Prix, and you can see he's actually just right there, right up my gearbox, actually just behind me. So although you can see my personal best lap time on the top right of the screen going down and tumbling as we went through the laps, Ricciardo's just been going so much faster. We move aggressively to the inside to try and defend from him, but he's going to have the straight line speed on us, and you can see at the very end of the braking zone, Ricciardo can actually sweep back onto the racing line very easily. And so yeah, I was going a lot faster than I came out of the pits, and I was tumbling down my best lap time, but Ricciardo was just going that much faster, just showing the pace of the Ferrari car, the improved aero, the improved engine this season. On lap 21 though, I'm starting to come back. You can see I've still not set a fast lap of the Grand Prix myself here. Ricciardo sets another one after after overtaking me on that lap, but you can see the times are tumbling slowly on the top right for me, so I'm slowly getting into the pace of things, but I'm yet to really be on pace with Ricciardo. But you can see there now on the top right, purple first sector, so the DRS has helped us there a little bit, probably showing that the place where we're losing the most time to pretty much not only Ricciardo but other cars around us is the first and third sector. In the middle, I'm probably the fastest out of everyone, in this Grand Prix so far. But you can see with the aid of DRS, we've finally popped in a purple lap time. We've gone down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, locked up on the left tyre. I've let him go there because I knew Ricciardo was going to do that. I knew he was going to give me the pinch on that second corner, just like before you saw the Toro Rosso do to the Alfa Romeo, and we've seen many, many times Max Verstappen doing in real life, harking back to 2015 on Perez. So I knew Ricciardo was going to do that. I let him go there to try and get a run into the second sector. It hasn't quite worked out. I thought I could have got him in that, back on that left-hander. We'll have to try and maybe do it in the actual second sector. You can see right up the hill, right up his gearbox. Probably could have fit a tiny little ruler in between our cars. That's how much little space there was in between both our cars there. You can see just kind of moving around, trying to see maybe where we can make a dive bomb move. Potentially, I had a bit of a think here. Not going to lie, I really thought it was very tempting to make a move there. But this time, though, this is why we've got better traction round the outside. We try to hang it round, just doesn't work again. Getting rather frustrated now against Ricciardo. He's doing a brilliant job, to be honest, so you got to give him credit there. Doing a great job to defend, but that's why I didn't make the dive bomb on that deep right-hander, because I thought I could have got a better exit, which I did, but I just couldn't make it around the outside. But now, as we go onto the back straight, onto the main straight, I should say, the pit straight, we have DRS, we go around the outside on the right-hand side, and we go into turn one already ahead of Ricciardo. But remember, he's going to get DRS now back on us, unfortunately. So that's the only issue with the way Brazil is set up with the DRS points at this circuit. So Ricciardo will come swinging right back at us here. So here comes the Australian on the inside. This time we go to the outside once more, but this time Ricciardo does not outbrake us. We go around the outside side by side with the Australian, but he gets us on traction. We try to switch back. It's actually worked here. Ricciardo just about gives us enough room. Come on, give us some room, man. We sling the car around the outside. Ricciardo still on the inside. We dare lift off the throttle there, so you can see my stubbornness to not let go on the right pedal means we go a little bit wide, but it's worked out. We go down the inside, squeeze Ricciardo wide there, and we've got back into first place for now. I say for now because very much immediately Ricciardo starts to come back at us on lap 24 in the same usual place. Really good use of DRS. Ricciardo's tactically been working out this race perfectly, and you can see he overtakes us on the right hand side, and then Charles Leclerc comes out of nowhere and tries it round the outside. You can see in the mirrors there he's still there, but we've got a great exit, so we now go back on focus to Ricciardo. We've tapped his side pod there with the right rear tyre. He's gone very aggressive to squeeze me out, and that's not worked out there because we don't have the same entry up the hill. You can see Charles Leclerc has tried to move down the inside. He's stuck his nose in. He just so misses my right rear tyre there. So you can see now on towards lap 26, Ricciardo sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and he's actually pulling a gap now, unfortunately for us, and my tyre's starting to go off a little bit, lock up on the left front, and you can see Charles Leclerc now in the Alfa Romeo is going to try and overtake me and get second place back in this Grand Prix. He has been absolutely electric in this Grand Prix, and you can see just why, really, to be honest. That Alfa Romeo is like an absolute rocket ship in Sector 1, as I said before with Ricciardo. In Sector 2, it looks like I'm faster than everyone on today at the Brazilian Grand Prix, but in Sector 1 and 3, I just don't have the pace up the hill and down the straight, you know, especially against the Alfa Romeo, which is obviously a lower drag car. But it also seems definitely all Ferrari-powered engines are working very well here at Brazil. But we're going to try and size up a move. Go a little bit wide here on the entry, then on the exit. Keep it tight. We go round the outside of Charles Leclerc into the next corner. We tap. He's tapped our side pod there. We've gone swerving off on the left a little bit, but we'll do the switchback. It's not over yet. We'll try to hang it round the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Keep the throttle in. Keep it in. Don't dare lift off there. Lock up on the left tire. We'll go side by side. He's still on the outside there. How is this happening? Absolute crazy stuff. Look at it. Look at the speed he's got, but absolutely wet your pants stuff there. That was insane stuff going round the outside of Charles Leclerc. I didn't dare lift off there, and we kept it through, but he's got the pace up the hill, as I mentioned. But my word, I didn't catch my breath. That was absolutely thrilling to try and battle the youngster. I can't believe he's driving so well. It's his only his debut season in Formula 1, only his third race in Formula 1, and he's driving that well. Absolutely stunning stuff from one Charles Leclerc. But you can see behind us, Pierre Gasly, our teammate, is in fourth place on the hard tyre. So brilliant stuff from Gasly to come back in this Grand Prix seemingly. So he's in fourth. Absolutely brilliant work, teammate. So anyway, on to lap 27 now. After that absolute worldly battle with Leclerc, we're going to have to pause it here. We'll resume the battle after the pit stops, I'm guessing, because it's time to come in for our final set of medium tyres. So Also, Charles comes in, you can see, ahead of us, so he can take the hard tyres till the end of the Grand Prix. So probably a good thing that I didn't go on the hard tyres, because I think I would have been slower on the hards, unlike the Alfa Romeo, which did pretty damn well on the hard tyres, you must say. But anyway, we move on now to lap 28, going on to lap 29. This will be as Ricciardo up ahead is streaking away. You can see actually we're in 4th place. Charles Leclerc is in 3rd. We make a dive bomb move. A very, very audacious move. Lock up on the tyre. Charles is also locked up as well. We go side by side through turn 2. I squeeze him out, do the pinch that Ricciardo tried to do on me earlier in the Grand Prix. And we're up into 3rd place. So that was such an audacious move. Really, I locked up just because of the amount of momentum I had moving from the right-hand side to the left-hand side of the circuit there. I really just kind of pounced for it like a panther down to turn 1. But we've made it work. But you can see we're in 3rd place now. Vettel is 2nd, Ricciardo 1st. So Vettel has jumped me and Leclerc in all of that. So he had much better pace and he just snuck up on us. So unfortunately he's got the undercut there. And so now we're fighting for 3rd place, not 2nd, unfortunately. And the Ferraris have some great pace. It looks like Vettel streaked away from us. And so back to us on lap 30. You can see Leclerc has overtaken us pretty damn easily once more with that DRS. And once again, it's up to us in the 2nd sector to try and come back at him. So once again, trying to line up a move maybe. We've got a good run on him here. So I maybe half thought about making a move there. You can see I got very close to his left rear tyre. But once again, we'll try and get some good traction off that left-hander. Maybe try something in the right-hander. No, again, we think better of it. But again, in the same exact place as last time, we get good traction. This time, he does a lot better to park it. Look at that, actually. He slows down mid-corner, parks the car on the apex there of the swooping left-hander. So Charles Leclerc, only his 3rd Grand Prix, as I mentioned, and he's already pulling out the parking the bus moves. He is really definitely going to be a star of the future in Ferrari, as they mentioned earlier on in the MyDriver report at the beginning of the season there. So now we've moved on to lap 31, still trying to chase down this Alfa Romeo. Getting a little bit frustrated at this point, but we've got some good traction here. We could make a move down the inside. We'll go for it, and all for nothing there. Down the inside, hit the apex. We made it work, and we're up into 3rd place for now. So with a handful of laps to go in this Grand Prix, Daniel Ricciardo leading the Brazilian Grand Prix from Sebastian Vettel. Then we've got our new position in 3rd place. Charles Leclerc climbs up the hill in 4th, right behind us. I believe then it's the likes of Lewis Hamilton, Van Dorn, Giovinazzi and Gasly all behind, quite a few seconds back. So it's all about me and Leclerc now towards the end of this Grand Prix. This is going to be the only guy who can take the podium away from me here today. So he comes back round the outside. We bang tyres a little bit as I try and squeeze him on the outside. It's actually worked out there for us. We have managed to squeeze him out on the right-hand side there. But in hindsight, we probably actually should have let him through, because once again, he will get DRS here and will be able to streak past us. We're going to have to try and make the move once more in the 2nd sector. You can see there, look at the pace he's got. He's actually moved. He moves back yet again, back onto the racing line, just like Ricciardo did earlier on in the Grand Prix. These Ferrari engines are working an absolute treat here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And in stark contrast, the Honda engines, you've got to say, have not been working too well, because McLaren seemingly are nowhere compared to where they were in Bahrain. But we now go down the inside of Leclerc, as I mentioned, the McLarens, and we're back up into 3rd place. A nice, audacious and opportunistic move there. Caught Leclerc napping a little bit up the hill, so we made that move, and now we have to try and get away from him a little bit, because we've got 4 laps to go. So I don't want to keep on fighting him to the end of this Grand Prix. So you can see I moved to the left-hand side of the circuit, down the pit straight, to try and break the slipstream from him. And you can see by lap 33, doing a bit of work in the 2nd sector, really getting the power down, using a bit of rich mix here and there. We've set the purple 2nd sector and really flexed the downforce of this Red Bull car. And you can see on the mini-map visually that Leclerc is a bit further back down the circuit. In the mirrors you can see also he's nowhere to be seen. So as we cross the line with 3 laps to go, we'll try our best and catch Sebastian Vettel in 2nd place, a few seconds down the road. So it will be a bit difficult, but we'll try our best and push on to the end of the Grand Prix. Speaking of trying to catch the cars ahead, Giovinazzi, this is on Stoffel Van Dorn, trying to make a move earlier on in the Grand Prix. He goes down the inside. I believe this is actually maybe around lap 34 actually as well. And they go side by side through turn 2. Stoffel Van Dorn squeezes Giovinazzi wide on turn 2, but doesn't get the best exit there. Meanwhile, Ricciardo, you can see, in a world of his own in 1st place. No one ahead of him, no one behind him, and he's all chilled out. But a few laps later then, Stoffel Van Dorn comes down the inside of Giovinazzi, comes back at him now on the very next lap this will actually be, and they go side by side, and this time Giovinazzi repays the favour to Van Dorn and squeezes him out into the 2nd corner. And meanwhile, this means my teammate Gasly, look how much time he has caught up on both these cars. He'll try and make a move. He'll actually go for it. Dive bomb down the inside of Antonio Giovinazzi, and Gasly's made that. What a move from Pierre Gasly. Brilliant stuff. very opportunistic. He's gained so much time on these two after they've been battling, and now he's not going to give up. He's going to make the move on Stoffel Vandoorne. Down the inside they'll go. This will be for, I believe, P6 in the Grand Prix. They go side by side. Vandoorne will pinch Gasly just like he did to Giovinazzi, but even worse this time. But it doesn't work out for him. He loses momentum here. So the championship leader going to this race really not doing too well in this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, the Italian in the Toro Rosso will go down the inside of Pierre Gasly. They'll go side by side. This is inter-team, sort of inter-family battling, if you will. The junior team versus the big team, and the junior team right now is upsetting the bigger guy. And you can see there as they climb up the hill, all very, very close together. You can throw a blanket over them. Giovinazzi is in P6, then Gasly P7, and Vandoorne P8, and that's actually how it's going to end for them in this Grand Prix. And speaking about ending, we come through to the final corner, really, as we now climb up the hill on the final lap of the Grand Prix. It's going to be P3 for us in the podium positions. But yeah, Giovinazzi showing the same aggression he showed last season in 2017. And meanwhile, as we climb up the hill, Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel wave their hands in the air, fist pump the air, as it's a 1-2 for Scuderia Ferrari. I didn't think I'd be saying that because they really have not been that great in the MyDriver universe. I don't think this has actually happened. 2 wins in a row for the Ferrari team as a unit there. I don't think that's actually happened once in MyDriver's history since 2015 to 2018. So absolute scenes for them. A 1-2 for Ferrari. They'll be very, very happy back at Maranello. You can see we get P3, a very much deserved one, I feel. Max Verstappen, after the battling he did with the Giovinazzi early on in the Grand Prix, actually finishes last place in this Grand Prix after some issues. So as a whole, Mercedes have a lot of things to do to try and see how they're going to come back in this championship, really. And you can see why I left them, really, at the end of 2017. I foresaw that this was going to happen. I really didn't think they were going to improve any more in 2018, and you can see I was completely correct. But you can see now Daniel Ricciardo has taken the lead of the championship with Vettel now in second. So it's a 1-2 in the championship, as it is a 1-2 in the race. So they will really be very, very happy in Maranello. You can see we're third place. Vandoorne moves down to fourth now. Hamilton fifth place, yet to show his hand really in this season yet so far. You must say, so far, Vandoorne is still whooping Hamilton's arse, like he has done for the last 3 seasons, really. So very surprising indeed from Hamilton. And then Gasly moved just behind Hamilton after that comeback drive, which I think was a much-deserved comeback. Unfortunately, he couldn't get P6, but he did really well, I felt, Pierre Gasly. I think he deserves a pat on the back at least, and hopefully he stops getting such bad luck, because he's got the pace. He's got the pace. I do believe that as well. I'm excited to be his teammate, because I really do believe Gasly could be something in the future, and it's just unfortunate he's getting a lot of bad luck here. I want him to be there fighting with me for the podiums, for the wins, hopefully later on in this season. But you can see at the moment the constructors, we're in second place. Ferrari first place, McLaren moved down to third. Toro Rosso cementing themselves in fourth place, just ahead of Mercedes there by 2 points there. And then Alfa Romeo behind Mercedes, really doing a great showing. Charles Leclerc, absolutely amazing job. But I want to go back quickly to the race results, because if you missed it, Nico Rosberg actually got Audi GP Racing points in this Grand Prix. That deserves a round of applause. I think that is absolutely amazing. Nico Rosberg has got an Audi, a brand new team in Formula 1, took over Manor, and he's got them points in their 3rd race in Formula 1. That is an absolute achievement and a half. So it's a great day for the youngsters, or the kind of underdogs in this race, if you will, with Leclerc there as well. So a great Grand Prix that was, and I hope you guys could tell my voice. I enjoyed racing that, and I enjoyed commentating that back. It was absolutely amazing to witness. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, smash the like button. Let's try and aim for over 2,500 likes. That'd be absolutely amazing for this episode, because it was such a thriller. MyDriver and Brazil together are just a match made in heaven, it seems. Let me know what you thought about this Grand Prix in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time.